So we finally had the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always reunion special episode available today. I've just finished watching it. I have put out at the same time as this review a watch-along video, so if you want to watch it and tune in with me, watch my live reaction and enjoy it while I watch it, then feel free to do that. This is my full review. I've been nervous about doing this. Imagine waiting all this time and this show sucked. This reunion special movie, I guess, sucked. Well, fortunately, spoilers. It didn't suck. I'm going to start by going through pros and cons, positives and negatives, and then give you my overall conclusion, my overall feelings towards this special. Should there be more? Will there be more? Do I want there to be more? We'll get to that at the end. But for now, let's start. You know what? Let's start with the negatives. We'll start with the negatives. Let's do this a little different. Now, if you watch my watch-along before you watch this review, then you'll already know how I feel. Now, before this came out, a few days ago, I released a video talking about things that need to be answered to avoid creating huge plot holes within the Power Rangers universe. I think I came up with 4 or 5 things that were really important to address in this reunion episode. Sadly, I don't think any of them were off the top of my head. One of the big ones for me was Rita Repulsa. Why is she a robot? After the destruction of Zordon and the release of the Z-Wave, she was purified, she was made good, but now she's back, but mechanically. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. She becomes a force for good. She helps the Mystic Power Rangers in Mystic Force, and she's purely good. She's pure good energy. So why is she now back? Not only evil again, but as a robot. It wasn't explained. If we look at the look and the design and the aesthetic of her face, I would assume that it's something to do with the Machine Empire. That kind of seems fairly obvious, but it's not addressed. It's not addressed at all, and she talks very much as though she is Rita Repulsa. She says something along the lines of, "It's great to be back, even if it is in my robot body." Something like that. So, I'm a bit frustrated that wasn't addressed. However, it didn't take away from the fact that she made a great villain. It was great to see her at full force, and it was cool to see her really going for it and actually addressing and attacking this plan that was viable. Whereas in past episodes, historically, she would be like, "Oh, my monster that I made didn't really work, so I'm going to make another one that's just as terrible." And it was just rinse and repeat. But this plan, it made sense, kind of. She was capturing Rangers, using their energy to create some kind of time portal where she could go back, kill the Rangers in their sleep before they become an issue, and inform her younger self of all of these 30 years of knowledge that she has gained to prevent her from making any of the same mistakes. It kind of made sense. Obviously, spoilers again, doesn't go to plan, but it made sense. She was more of a viable and fearful villain for this special, which was great. The next thing that had to be addressed for me was Billy Cranston. Obviously, at the end of Mighty Morphin, or the end of Zeo, I should say, he goes off to Aquitar to be with the Aquitians, however you say it, after falling in love with Sestria. Now, he had to be there for a reason other than the love, because he was aging. He was rapidly aging after the reversal of when they were made into kids at the end of Zeo, Mighty Morphin. Oh, God. Come on, Jake. Wake up. Now, this is never answered. I assume that after spending time around the Eternal Falls or whatever on Aquitar, that it just kind of cured his rapid aging and he was able to go back to Earth. Not sure. I felt that needed addressing. They did not address it, though they did bring up Aquitar towards the end of the episode and mentioned that Sestria misses him. He says he will return after clearing some bits up on Earth. So, not really sure what happened there. They make it pretty apparent that he's been back on Earth for a while because he has a very successful, clearly, business in Cranston Tech, I think it was. Now, that thing doesn't happen overnight, so he's obviously been back on Earth for a while. Looks great for his age, so he must be cured of the rapid aging. Again, not addressed. Slightly disappointing. The Tommy Oliver situation, the JDF situation. At the very start of the episode, we do hear JDF's voice, which was very strange for me. He has very, very iconic, distinct noises when he's fighting, right? All those sorts of noises. Sorry if you're wearing headphones, that was probably loud. But you can tell them a mile away. You can tell when it's JDF. And as soon as they started fighting, I was like, what? So that was strange for me, but like I said in my watch-along, even though JDF's no longer with us, Tommy Oliver, the character, is still there in Power Rangers. So I'm glad he was included, I think. It wasn't done distastefully. It wasn't awkward. He was there. There was a reason why he wasn't on screen much, because he was captured along with Kimberly and Jason. Again, same goes for them. I'm glad they were on screen in some form as their characters, whether or not Amy Jo Johnson and Austin St. John wanted or could be involved. I'm glad the characters were, because Jason, Kimberly, and Tommy are the 3 greatest Rangers ever, right? Or at least they're up there. That's pretty much it for the negatives in terms of the plot holes that I tried to clear up. There was also the connection to the Morphin grid for the new powers and then copies of powers. We brought in Rocky at the same time Jason was active, and Kat at the same time Kimberly was active. It's a little confusing, a little bit contradictive. I've forgotten English. You know what I'm getting at. Anyway, it worked well for the episode. The way they went with it, it just worked. Now, the only thing that really disappointed me, and it's not something at the start of the episode that I thought would have disappointed me, but when they kind of got to it, I felt like there was a huge opportunity to bring in other Rangers. When Rita started saying she needed more Rangers, and then you've seen her capture Zane and some Lost Galaxy Rangers and Trent, and there was all these cool, iconic Rangers that had been captured, along with Jason, Tommy, and Kimberly. Why are you not showing them? Like, give them cameo appearances. I don't care if it's for 5 seconds, where you just have a montage of Rangers being captured around the world or around the galaxy, whatever it is. That would have been great, and would have meant a lot to long-time real Ranger fans like myself. It wouldn't have added so much to the budget. It would have been easy to do. It would have made sense in the story. It felt like a missed opportunity. It's not a negative. It's just something that they could have added that would have made it a little bit extra special. Now, I've covered all the negatives. I've got all that out of the way. All the cons are out of the way. Let's talk about the pros. Let's be positive. Guys, this was awesome. Let's just start with that. This was awesome. The performances, and again, I said this in the watch along, some lines, fell a little bit flat. But that's going to happen. It's a show based on a kids' show from the 90s. Like, there's going to be some flat cheese there. But when it comes to Power Rangers, these were the best performances there have ever been on this show. Without a doubt. I really, really want to point out Walter Emmanuel Jones' performance. It didn't feel like a performance meant for a kids' show. This was a real emotive, powerful performance in some parts. And well done, Walter. Really, really impressed. Same goes for David Yost. He was fantastic. He felt like Billy, but he felt like a mature Billy, right? Which he should. He didn't try and be teenager Billy Cranston, which I think would have led to some cheese. Someone's just turned up at my door. Like I was saying, it would have been kind of cheesy if they had tried to make themselves back into the characters that they were in the 90s, right? But no, they've just hit the nail on the head in terms of how those characters should be acting at this stage in their lives. And it just felt, I don't want to say real, but it felt believable. So great job to all the actors. Great job to the writing team and the directors as well. I really felt it. Now, the story itself was super emotional. The focus around Trini and her death, and how the Rangers dealt with it, and how her daughter dealt with it. It was really powerful. It made me feel quite emotional. Some bits were almost a struggle to sit through, like with a straight face, especially on camera. I was like, be strong. But no, it's nice that Trini finally got her on-screen goodbye. You know, I thought that was really nice. There was a nice camera shot on the gravestone, which said "mother and friend to all" or something like that, which was a nice touch. And it's long overdue as well, in my opinion. The action sequences. Now, I believe this is one of the first times that it's been entirely shot by an American or a Western company, right? It's not been Japanese fight footage. So that was one of the only things I was slightly worried about. Will the choreography and the delivery of the choreography and the way it's shot, will it hold up to the Japanese teams that famously create all the Super Sentai footage? I think it did. They did a fantastic job. The stunt team were great. The choreography was very Power Rangers. I've got nothing but positive to say. I'm normally quite judgmental with things like that, being from that background. But no, I think it was really, really, really well delivered. So no complaints there. It felt slightly different to what a regular Power Rangers show would, but so it should. It's a movie-length, almost special, with a reunion of cast from 30 years ago. So it should feel different. It did feel different, but in all the right ways. Overall, I'm so happy with this show. There's one more negative I want to add on. It's a pro and a con. First of all, the Megazord. The recreation of we'll call it awakening of the Zords as they all kind of appear was fantastic. It looked beautiful. The formation of the Megazord looked incredible. However, the fight scene, the CGI was almost reminiscent of the CGI of the Zords from the 95 movie. Not quite so bad, it's an exaggeration, but there's like, yeah, you can kind of see what I'm going with if you check it out yourselves. Another missed opportunity here is the lack of Dragon Zord. I feel like they could have freed Tommy a little bit earlier and be like, we need help, Tommy. Dragon Zord power. That would have been awesome. The Dragon Zord is the greatest sword ever. I don't care what anyone says. So, yeah, that's another missed opportunity for me. Quite a few missed opportunities, but what we did get, what they did deliver, it delivered in full. It was fantastic. I'm really happy. I'm not going to keep rambling on. If you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. Obviously, if you haven't, I've just spoiled most of it. But not the full story. I didn't spoil the full story. Anyway, be sure to let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode. I am so happy right now. So happy. I will point out, and again, if you watched with me, you probably could tell, the end was a real struggle for me to get through. When they cut to the footage of Kimberly singing from 93 with Zach, and it cuts to Tommy and Trini, that was tough. And then it was like an in loving memory of bit at the end as well. That was hard to watch. I don't know why. I do know why. It's very sad, but yeah, touching but sad. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll give it a score. I'm gonna go with 8 out of 10 for the reasons I just stated for the last 10 minutes. There was a lot of things that made me be like, it could be better, like the CG. It's a TV show, and too many missed opportunities, I think. But again, what we did get was great. I'm very happy. It felt like it was on for 10 minutes. It flew by. There was no wasted content, no filler, which was great. I'm happy. Definitely go and watch it. Recommend it. Support it. Let's try and get a sequel. Let's get more Mighty Morphin content. That's what we all want. It's not possible for much longer, right? These guys aren't going to be doing it when they're in their 60s and 70s. So let's get as much MMPR as we can right now. Support this. Tweet about it. Post about it. Share it on your Instagram story. Let's get this going crazy. I want it trending on Netflix, guys. 6 Ranger Army. We can do it. Come on, let's support. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Once and Always special. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger. May the power protect you, and I will see you next time on the 6th Ranger.